Hello everyone, myself Prashant Tyagi, legal intern from Team Lexus and Company. I hope you all guys are safe and healthy. I hope you like my previous video. Please like, share, comment on my videos and subscribe our channel Lex Click for getting latest updates. Today in this video, I am going to discuss the topic women protection laws. Women protection laws, are they really helping the women in India? So we discuss these women protection laws that are available for women in India. So let's start our video with the introduction of this. Article 15, sub Article 3 of the Indian Constitution permits state to make any special provision in law for women as well as children. This article makes an exception to general rule of equality before law guaranteed by Article 14 of the Indian Constitution and general rule of prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of sex guaranteed by Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. The central government of India and state governments have passed many laws for giving special protection for women and children in exercise of power of state under Article 15 subsection of 3 of Constitution. The point of law needs to be considered is that the children are naturally immature and innocent by their age factor, and therefore they are less likely to be misused any special provision of law giving them special protection. But this natural factor does not apply to adult women, and therefore the woman cannot be treated on par with children. Therefore Article 15 sub 3 of Indian Constitution itself is against the scheme of nature because it treats women and children as similarly weak, which isn't true in as per natural science. The main point of law is that if the constitutional provision itself is unnatural, where all citizens of state look for justice, it is but natural that the women whose brains are equally smart as that of adult men likely to misuse the provisions of law which grant them special protection by unnaturally treating them on par with children. Take for example the provision of section 498 of Indian Penal Code. The provision of law recognize physical as well as mental cruelty against married women from husband and his relatives, but said provision does not recognize any such cruelty against married women for husband. But said provision does not recognize such cruelty against married men from wife and of her relatives. Section 498 of the Indian Penal Code codifies matrimonial crime, and therefore it cannot be read in isolation from their matrimonial laws which are civil in nature. Such matrimonial laws recognize cruelty as ground of divorce for both women and men. It means that the woman can commit only civil cruelty against men, but men can commit both civil and criminal cruelty against women. In other words, man is hard and aggressive, capable of committing criminal cruelty, and woman is soft and submissive, incapable of committing criminal cruelty. It is reasonable, truly natural. Do lawmakers know the truth that women are capable of committing such a hidden criminal cruelty, which is capable of driving men to commit suicide? It is needless to state that men and women are not products of phantom pregnancy. They are born out of natural sex union between man and woman. Thus, men and women are made for each other by nature. It is beyond understanding that women want freedom from men, and for that they want women protection laws. They are right only in exceptional cases wherein certain crimes such as rape can be committed only by men against women. It is wrong to treat men as criminals meant for using women in criminal way. Men should not forget that as women carry motherhood with them, men also carry fatherhood with them. The lawmakers did not use their common sense while codifying section 498A of Indian Penal Code and many other laws which are totally discriminating in nature. The nuisance of law in the name of law is still being continued by more of such laws coming day by day for women protection. For example, the Women and Child Development Department of Government of Maharashtra has passed a recent order with henceforth the married women cannot be compelled to write surnames of their father or husband after their names. The woman will enjoy full freedom from family surname of their father or husband. A married woman can claim right in father and property since Hindu law of Hindu succession now treats both sons and daughters as equal of entitlement from Hindu family property, wherein father may only be earning member. A married woman can also claim right in husband property, but married women are free from surnames of either her husband or father. If a married woman have problem about surnames of their father or husband just because they are men, why do they not have such problem about such the man's property? Women nowadays are overdoing at their own peril by supporting such entertaining provisions of law in the name of women protection. Let them know that all such irrational and unreasonable provisions of women protection laws are breaking the matrimonial institution and natural love and affection flowing within family constituted by such matrimonial institution. If the women really want full freedom from men, they should first sacrifice all their benefits, including natural protection which they derive from men. The latest women protection law must be controlled within natural limit, else shall definitely force women to lose their natural protection from women. This is not any threat to women, but only a note of caution to both women and women, men and women, that anything which is unnatural is illegal from its very beginning, and what is unnatural will ultimately be fatal. I hope you like and understand this topic. I hope please like, share, comment on this video and subscribe our channel. Let's click for getting latest updates. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay tuned. Have a nice day.